Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This video is going to be all about the pros and the cons of being self-employed. Now, speaking of being self-employed, this video is sponsored by Squarespace. So whether you need a website, a domain, or an online store, make it with Squarespace. So first up, my surroundings are different, and you'll notice that my surroundings have actually been different for the past, let's be honest, couple of months, and that is because I've been dotted around and I'm currently house sitting for a few people, and that's why my rooms are always different. But you will know this if you follow me on social media. On Instagram I've been posting about it, so follow me over there if you don't already. But I am finally getting my own place. I am moving, and so soon I'll be settled down and I'll have my own environment. So the background won't be changing quite as much. I'll have my own place to film from, which I'm so excited about. So if you've been wondering, that's why the background keeps on changing and I feel like I'm in different locations all the time, because I've been dotted around. I'm currently animal sitting, so if you hear noises in the background, that's what that is. Otherwise, let's just hop right into the video. So the first pro of being self-employed is the thing that I think comes to people's mind the most when they're thinking about being self-employed, and that is that I don't have to answer to anybody else. I am my own management and I kind of dictate everything. So I can kind of have creative control and do whatever I want, basically, which is good and bad. So I can kind of go with whatever project I feel like. So I've constantly got so many different projects and ideas in my mind. So it's fantastic to be able to be like, okay, that's the one that resonates most with me today. That's the one I'm going to push forward with. Whereas if I have a management team, they might disagree. Or with most jobs, you don't get a say at all. You just have to do the work that your manager tells you to do. So I think that this is the biggest pro, and the thing that most people think of when they think about becoming self-employed is that you can basically do whatever you want. Now the downside of this, the con, is that I have to learn self-discipline, basically, because if you can do whatever you want, sometimes it can be overwhelming to know which direction to go in, and sometimes, let's face it, some days you want to be doing nothing, and so it's really tempting to say take kind of sick days off, and if you do that far too many times, then you're not going to be earning any money and you won't be self-employed, you'll just be unemployed. So I know a lot of people think about being self-employed as this wonderful thing because you can wake up whenever you want, you can go to bed whenever you want, you can do whatever you want, but it's not exactly the truth, because being self-employed is not the same thing as being unemployed, and you still need to have a schedule to stick to. In fact, I think the schedule is even more important because you don't have that work-home life separation, which I'm going to be talking about a little bit later. You have to have a schedule and a regimen for the most part. I know that some people can kind of get away with not having that, but I'd say for the most part, and certainly for me, a schedule is so important. I need to set an alarm, I need to be up by a certain time, I need to have my day planned out. Otherwise, it's just all in the air, and it's really easy to just kind of stay in bed for half an hour longer, maybe take an extra 20 minutes on your lunch break, and then by the end of the day, you've actually wasted so much time and you haven't got the work done. And it's really important to get the work done, because you're not just paid a monthly wage, you're paid based on the work that you're doing. And if you're not doing as much work, you're not getting paid as much, and it might fail. So pro number 2 is that I can work from home, or as a matter of fact, from anywhere. Like you guys have seen, I've been dotted around, I can work from anywhere. All I need is an internet connection. So working from home is fantastic. I absolutely love it. As an introvert, I thrive in the kind of environment where I'm on my own or with a handful of other people, especially creatives. So working from a large office environment, that's not where I'm going to be doing my best work, so I won't be doing the best job for the company or for myself or whatever the situation is. So working from home, I used to have a job where I kind of persuaded my management to let me work from home a lot of the time rather than in the office. And they agreed that when I work from home, my work was so much better. And it sounds like a kind of cop-out when you go to your management team and you say, actually, I'd like to work from home. They think you're just being lazy. But a lot of the time, I think that especially creatives and particularly introverts do actually do their best work from home in their own home environment. And that is certainly true of me. So being self-employed allows me to work from wherever I want, wherever I feel most comfortable, and wherever I feel like is going to give me the best surroundings and platform to do my best work. Now the con of this is that I have to learn home and work-life balance. Because I'm working from the same place that I live, it can be extremely difficult to separate them, and I'm still working on this. I'm constantly working on this because it'd be really easy to get up and kind of check my phone, because I can give myself the excuses, well, it's what I do for a job. I need to check my phone, and it can be really difficult to kind of set the boundaries. With most people going to an office, for example, they work a 9 to 5, they're in the office from 9 to 5, and as soon as 5 o'clock hits, they clock off, and then they don't think about work till 9 o'clock the next morning, and then they can have these set hours where they can really focus on themselves and their family life. You can hear that dog. Hopefully he'll be quiet. So sometimes I find myself kind of working first thing in the morning and then through to like midnight or the early hours of the morning, because I'm on a roll and I keep going through, which is fantastic for creative expression. But when that happens too often, it can be very detrimental and can exhaust me, and then it can blur the lines between work and home life. And then I find that I'm in much more need of some self-care because I kind of deplete myself. It can also have a detrimental effect on your personal relationships, your friendships, your family life, if you're prioritizing this work over going somewhere else because you just have this deadline that you need to meet for yourself. And it's really important to have like clocking off and clocking in hours as well. So the third pro is that you get to set your own hours, which is fantastic. I love setting my own hours because, like I said before, I know my own rhythm. I know that I work best in a home environment or a coffee shop environment over an office. And I also know that I am a morning person. I'm very much like an early bird. I like to wake up kind of 6, 7 o'clock in the morning and start work pretty immediately. And then I know that my kind of work and creative flow kind of depletes come the late afternoon, 3, 4 o'clock. So I like to get those working hours in early, so by the time it's the afternoon I can kind of slow down and unwind a little bit more. It can be the opposite for some people. Some people would rather spend the morning sleeping in or working out or doing something else and then working late at night. It's whatever works for each individual, and I think that 9 to 5 typical office jobs don't account for this, and they just want you to work those hours and get the job done no matter what kind of person you are. And it can be detrimental to the company as a whole if people aren't working their very best, and to each individual as well. My bullet journal has been absolutely the saving grace for setting my own hours. I can write out my day, I can schedule it, and if you know anything about bullet journals, you completely make it custom to your life and your needs and your wants and your job. So I will be sharing a deep, in-depth look at my bullet journal. I did this one a few years ago, but my bullet journal has changed quite a bit since then. So over the next few weeks, I'm going to be filming a video about my bullet journal and showing you guys how I lay it out and how it works for me. So keep your eyes peeled for that one. You also might want to click the bell icon down below to get notified whenever I upload a video if you don't want to miss a video. So the fourth pro is that there's no set wage, and so the potential of earning is limitless. I can earn any amount of money because I don't have like a certain wage packet that comes through every month. It can mean that I can earn up to any amount of money at any point. This can mean a number of things. So the business that you're focusing on, you can scale it to be as large as you want, or you can earn different revenues through different mediums. So for example, if you have a blog, you can earn a little bit of money through sponsored posts or advertisements like AdSense. Here on YouTube, I earn a little bit of money each month through the advertisements that you see pop up before this video and on the down bar and the sidebar. And the same goes for the blog. I can have adverts pop up on my blog if I choose, or I can set up shops. So for example, I have my clothing line set up through my blog, and I also have my ebooks, and I can add any kind of shop pages that I want. You can link your Etsy, or you can set up a shop directly on your website. Now this is really easy with Squarespace, which is who I use and who is sponsoring this video. I've been using a Squarespace website for about a year now. So before that I was using different platforms, and they just were not working out, and I was kind of hopping from platform to platform. And none of them were working out, and I wasn't getting exactly what I wanted from my website, and it just wasn't working for me, and I wasn't proud of it, and I was kind of embarrassed to share it. And I just wanted to make it look really professional, but I didn't want to keep on putting the work in. I didn't want to like build it from HTML, and I didn't want to go back and forth and try and tweak things here and there. I had tried that for so many years and it was just failing. And then I set up a website with Squarespace, and honestly guys, it is one of the best things I've ever done for my business. It was so smooth, so easy, it took hardly any time, and now my website is completely set up, and if I ever want to change anything, it's like simple, it's so easy. And if I ever have any questions, then I can speak directly to Squarespace and their team come and help me almost instantly. It's been such a smooth transition. So if you want to start your own blog, just head over to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/blueollis to save 10% of your first purchase for a website or a domain. Now, the con of this is that starting your own business and starting out as self-employed, you do have to start from the bottom. And so at the beginning, you're not going to be earning as much money as you would like, and it's on the grind. You have to grind and work really, really hard to get anywhere. For me, it's completely worth it because I love what I do, and so it feels like fun as well as work. But you will have to start from the bottom and work your way up, rather than being contracted into a new job and you're just set this wage packet and you're like already on the go. You have to work really, really hard, and it could crash at any moment. I mean, that's the potential of being self-employed. It could not work out, maybe. That's always a possibility. And if you take time off, or if you're not working as hard, you're gonna see that come through on how much you're earning, because however much you work is however much you earn. And so there's that great potential to work really, really hard and earn a good amount of money, or to kind of slack off and not earn that much. So it's kind of in your hands. The fifth pro is that you have complete creative freedom, which is such a fantastic thing. And one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to be self-employed is that I'm a very creative person. I have lots of ideas all the time, and I really just want to, like, you know, go with it and use them and do something with it, rather than just having this like, oh, I wish I could do this creative project, but I don't have time because I've got this office job or whatever it is. I can just wrap my head around it and really take a grip of it and use it and implement it in what I'm already doing, because I have complete creative control over what I produce here on YouTube or on the blog or on social media or on side projects, on my ebooks, on my clothing line. There are so many things and projects that I want to be doing, and I have the ability and the space and the time and the capability to be doing it. And that, to me, has got to be the best thing about being self-employed. Now, the con of this is that it can be a bit overwhelming, and it can be difficult to know which direction to go in. So if you're like me and you have a ton of creative projects on mind that you want to be going ahead with, it can be difficult to know which one to start with. So I'm currently in this position personally myself, whereas I've got a couple of projects on the brain that I want to go with, but I know that if I were to start them all at once, none of them would be that great. I know that I need to stick with one and focus on it, and I just need to decide which one to focus on. So that does happen from time to time, and it's very important to streamline your creativity and put it down on paper, which again, my bullet journal is inexplicably helpful with, and to get my thoughts and my creative ideas out there, and kind of mold them into something that's really practical and useful, and manageable, but without losing its creative edge, and then to go with it and put it out into the world. I hope that makes sense. I feel like I went on a bit of a tangent there. I hope that makes sense. It can be overwhelming if you have a creative head and your mind spins out all the time. Mine does. I have creative sparks here and there. And also, again, sometimes you might be stuck in a rut, and there might be weeks or even months that go past where you don't have a creative idea, and maybe you're stuck in a rut and you don't know where to go next. That happens as well. So there's kind of two sides of the same coin there. All in all, being self-employed is the best decision that I've ever made for myself. And I think that with these next generations, my generation and the next generation that I'm seeing growing up as well, I think that this is the way that the world is going. I think more and more people are self-employed, especially because our digital spaces are evolving all the time, every single day, and people are going to be looking to that to be their source of income. And I think that people are kind of taking their work life into their own hands and running with it, and I think it's fantastic to see, and I can't wait to see all the creative ideas that these next generations have to offer the world, and to evolve us digitally and humanly, and I just love being self-employed. And there are definitely pros and cons, so if you're looking to be self-employed, don't just look at it with rose-tinted glasses. There are definitely cons to it, and it's not for everybody. I think that office jobs are fantastic for a lot of people who need that structure kind of implemented for them. But if you're a creative and you feel like you have the discipline and the time management skills, I think that you should go for it. I think that a lot of people would thrive in this kind of environment. And also, if you have a job and you're not sure whether you want to be self-employed or not, start it on the side. That's what I did. Years ago, I had a part-time job, and I had looked for a part-time job specifically because I wanted to see if being self-employed was something that could work for me. And so I started that on the side and kind of like built that up while I had this other form of income, so that I wouldn't be kind of depleted at the end of it. And then I went fully self-employed about 2 years ago, and have never looked back. And there you go, that's my story. I didn't plan to tell you all of that at the end, but that's how I became self-employed. If you'd like to hear more about that, I can totally go into a video where I talk about the specifics of exactly how I went from having a full-time job to a part-time job to being full-time self-employed. I can totally do that. Give this video a thumbs up if you'd like to see that video. Let me know in the comments below. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell notification to be notified every time I upload a video so you don't miss one. And I will see you in the next video. All right, bye.